Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And tonight I'm super excited to be talking with my good friend Xavier. He is with BarbaraCares. So Xavier Sanders, please introduce yourself and let us know something about you.
Hello, everybody. I just want to first and foremost, thank you so much, Deidre, for extending the invitation. It is always good to have conversations with you. And my name is Xavier Sanders. I currently serve as the executive director for the BarbaraCares Foundation, located here in the beautiful city of Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm glad you said beautiful because we do have a beautiful city.
We do.
We get forgotten, you know.
We do, yes.
And we have just as much as Dallas going on.
We do, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I
yes.
love.
I'm an advocate for Fort Worth.
Absolutely, yes.
So, BarbaraCares. So, let us know why before we get into the what is.
Yes. So BarbaraCares, who we are, is basically this organization was birthed out of the heart of my mother. Her name was Barbara, and we lost her about 3 years ago due to a late stage breast cancer diagnosis. And my mother, as she battled her breast cancer diagnosis, one of the things that she asked us to do before she made her transition, she wanted to make sure that there was resources, but there was help out there for people that are going through a breast cancer diagnosis, and not just the patient, but for the caregivers as well. And so who we are the embodiment of my mother's heart and what she wanted to have in place as a supportive system for those that are going through a breast cancer diagnosis, not just here locally in Fort Worth, but throughout the entire state of Texas.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so good to know, because that was going to be one of my questions when sending referrals to people. It's such an amazing service. So first of all, give honor to your mom for having the, insight to be able to say she wanted to give back. Our testimonies are, our stories are a testimony for other people, and
Yes.
She's amazing. I never got the pleasure of meeting her, but when you leave a legacy, to me, this is a legacy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So, so the organization, so it was developed in.
We were developed, or we started rather here in Fort Worth. We were founded here in the city of Fort Worth, and like I said, we actually have a statewide reach, and so we not only do a lot of impact here locally, but we service all 254 counties here in the state of Texas, and we have a myriad of supportive services that we provide, whether that's financial grants, whether that's counseling services, healthy meals. We do gas cards. We do, you name it, we've done it. Here in the state of Texas, it's literally 1,000 degrees out here. And so we have gone as far as providing AC units for patients that have been in active treatment, whatever we can do to make the load lighter and easier for patients and for caregivers. That's what we're here to do.
Right, because you guys partner with several other amazing organizations as well.
Yes.
So it's almost a one-stop shopping resource center for someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. So speaking of being diagnosed with breast cancer, let's talk about your typical client so we can kind of give people some guidance as to, why or when or who they should call about.
Absolutely. And so here with the BarbaraCares Foundation, we not only assist those that are in active treatment, but our focus, especially this year, our theme this year is advocacy. Advocacy met with access. And so what we do is we not only want to assist those individuals that are already been diagnosed, but we also have a very focused target of reaching out to people that are at risk, those that are uninsured, and those that do not have the financial capacity to afford a mammography screening. And so our typical clientele would be women over the age of 35, here in urban communities that are, like I said, uninsured. And here in the state of Texas, unfortunately, as much as I love the Lone Star State, the numbers are they're not trending the right way as it relates to healthcare coverage. And so because of that, we are very focused on getting out into communities that have a high population of people that do not have insurance. And so our clientele are individuals that don't have insurance, that are due for a mammogram. We provide mammograms. I tell everybody all day, every day, that mammograms matter. Early detection, it saves lives. And so we humbly and we are proud to cover the cost of mammography screenings for individuals that are not able to afford it. For whatever reason, we don't pass judgment. We don't ask questions. If you need a mammogram, we got you. And so those will be one segment of our population that we assist. And then on the flip side of that, we also provide supportive services for individuals that are in active treatment, whether that's chemo, reconstruction, if you're doing alternative treatment options, however you define active treatment. If you are in active treatment for a breast cancer diagnosis, we got you. If you are caring for a loved one, that was a very important thing for me, because I cared for my mother as she was going through her journey. And so I know firsthand what it's like to exhaust your FMLA when you're out, when your employer gives you that time off, but you don't have money coming in. And so we provide financial resources for caregivers, because it is a journey that caregivers also take to be a support for their loved ones. And so those are the segments that we cover: patients, caregivers, and those that are in need of a mammography screening.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing service. And, people just don't know what they don't know,
Yeah.
I'm in the healthcare world, deep in the healthcare world, and there's some services that I'm like, oh my gosh, So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful service. And again, your mom is a saint before to tell you to do this. And then you're a saint because you're following instructions.
Yes. Yeah, those that knew my mother, they will attest to the fact that when my mother gave marching orders, it was something that you took to heart to do, not something that you felt necessarily obligated to do, but it was an honor to do it because she didn't ask for a lot. And so when mom put out that request for us to put forth this foundation with the desire to help people, that's who she was. This foundation is called BarbaraCares because Barbara did care. And so everything that we do, I count it an honor and a blessing to be able to carry on the marching orders of my mother as she made that transition, to make sure that others knew that there is a place where you can go to get help and resources that you need.
Absolutely. I think that is what it's all about. And I go back to that word legacy. So many people think the word legacy means monetary.
Right.
And me, I'm like, what mark are you making? And Xavier Sanders, you are making a wonderful mark.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm serious, because I'm so passionate about when people find their purpose and being able to know your lane. You know what I mean? Right. So
absolutely.
You got a wonderful, wonderful thing that you're doing, and it's all about education.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely. If it's one thing that I wish that we had a new, and I know that you can't turn back time, but one thing that I am a huge proponent of is that you learn from things that you go through. And I want to make sure that we do everything that we can to educate our community. We caught my mother's diagnosis late. I don't ever want that to be a testimony for anybody. And so we don't wish this journey on anyone, but we would rather someone know ahead of time rather than at the tail end. And so that's where our heart's desire is. And that's why we hit the ground running. We hit the pavement every single day, every month, with purpose, to do everything we can to make sure that no one else has to say goodbye, like I had to say goodbye to my mother.
I know, it's powerful. So you guys are covering preventative,
Yes.
You're covering when they're in the midst of the journey. And you also help with the caregivers. And I think that is super, super important because
Yes.
I feel like lots of times in healthcare, we forget about the caregivers.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking
Absolutely.
professional caregivers. I'm talking about the moms, the sisters, the brothers, the husbands. I'm talking those caregivers.
Absolutely. It is it's a very hard road. I wrote a book not too long ago, and one of the statements that I wrote in my book is that it's easy for a caregiver. It's easy to be a caregiver, and it's also let me rephrase that. It is easy to go from caregiving to care grieving, and that's where I found myself a lot of times, because you are wanting the best for your loved one, and you find yourselves in a situation where your hands are literally tied because there's nothing that you can do. And so you find yourself literally grieving to the point to where I want to help. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I can't because I don't know what to do. I'm not equipped to do what I'm supposed to do. And it's just, it's an unfortunate, and it's a very problem. It is a problem that needs addressing. And so it is very important for us here at the foundation to make sure that we provide those tools that are necessary for caregivers to get the support, the resources, and frankly, the counseling that some of us need. It is important to talk through some of these things. The many nights I spend can't sleep, stressing, worrying about my mother's next round of chemo, them having to switch up her medications and how that's going to affect the day-to-day. It is a lot for people to go through. And sometimes you just need to have someone that understands that journey and someone that's willing to talk to you. And so we have a heart for caregivers here at the foundation.
Awesome. So let's talk about some of your volunteers that are, doing that service with you. So where do they come from? Have they walked a journey of, this experience, or what does your typical volunteer look like? And are you looking for volunteers?
That is a very good question. We love our volunteers here at the BarbaraCares Foundation. We have a great army of dedicated and just heart-filled individuals that serve alongside with any of the events that we do. Typically, our volunteers are made up, believe it or not, we get a lot of students that come through the BarbaraCares Foundation, students that really, they really inspire me. I am grateful to TCU, their medical students. These are our next generation of medical professionals. And just hearing the heart that they have to not only get in the trenches, to do outreach, but the heart that they have of why they are in the medical field, that's where a lot of our volunteers come from. We partner with the Hispanic Nursing Society. We have a lot of medical personnel that partner with us because they truly have a heart of reaching the community, providing education, letting people know that medical professionals, they look like me and you. And so we can trust the medical field. That's the other thing that we try to do here at the foundation. We try to break down those stereotypes, those taboos, because there is a large segment in our population that just don't trust medical professionals. And so we are happy to partner with medical professionals. We are always excited that they are a part of our events to let the public know that there are individuals in these hospitals, in the clinics, that really have your best interests at heart. And so we have a lot of medical professionals. We have a lot of teachers that volunteer with us. We have a lot of friends and families from board members. We have a lot of survivors. We are just grateful for our volunteers. We're always looking for more, but I am just extremely happy for the volunteers that we have through the BarbaraCares Foundation. And I will say real quickly, my mother, she worked at the hospital for 30 plus years. And so we have an army at THR that comes out and they support us as well. And I'm just grateful. There's nothing that we do on our own. And I'm grateful for the support of the community that partners alongside us here with the BarbaraCares Foundation.
Oh, that's wonderful. So another question before we start to wrap up. So do you have any events or anything that you are being a part of coming up?
We do. I tell everybody that, and I get this from my mom. She was busy all the time. And so I've taken that same passion, especially as it relates to getting the word out and impacting the community. We've taken that same tenacity. And so our schedule for this year is full. We have events coming up next month. We have your Love Yourself mammogram event is going to be taking place in Irving. We're going to be providing free mammograms for women that are at risk, those that don't have insurance, and those that just don't have the financial capacity to afford it. We have our March for Mammogram event coming up on May the 14th at Trinity Park in Fort Worth. We have a mobile mammogram unit coming up on May the 7th. That's going to be right before Mother's Day. We have an event coming up, and we have our annual Health and Wellness Fair on October the 15th in Forest Hill, where we invite the entire community to come out and get screened for everything from the top of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. We have another mammogram event coming up in July, I believe. We have just a host of events coming up. My main thing that I would ask people to do is just check out our events calendar. I know that there are a lot that's slipping my head right now, but if you just go to our website at www.barbaracaresforyou.org/events, and you'll see our full itinerary of what we're doing, where we're going to be at, and it also gives you an opportunity to volunteer if you elect to do so as well.
Wow. Wow, you beat me to my last question. So if someone wanted to find out more about the amazing things that BarbaraCares has going on, let's repeat that website again and any other contact information that they could use to find out about what's important.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. You are more than welcome to check out our website. That is going to be the most current and up-to-date resource that has everything pertaining to what we're doing and where we're going to be at. And that website is going to be www.barbaracaresforyou.org. Or if you just do a Google search, you can just type in BarbaraCares. We are one of the top search results on there. And so more than able to go in and just do a Google search of BarbaraCares, and you'll be able to see our webpage. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook, and also on our YouTube channel. It's simply BarbaraCares. That is our handle on all of those, and we will be more than happy to connect. You can also give us a call at the office at 817-330-9785. And I do want to let people know that we are accepting applications for patients as well as caregivers, and if you need a mammogram, we are currently accepting applications across the board. So we do have funding available for all of that.
Preventative care is so key.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Thank you, Xavier, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and chat with us and educate the community. I really appreciate your time.
Well, I thank you for having me, and it's always just a blessing to be a part and I just want to just give kudos to you for your nurse advocates for just being a pillar in the community. We do all this together with the aim of helping to impact and educate the community. So thank you for what you do to help save lives as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And I love bringing you reputable resources from our local, beautiful community of Fort Worth, Texas, and more. So tune in next week with another amazing chat. And thank you again, Xavier.
Thank you all.